the other NPCs who are, you can see, happily dining. I know there was some concern about Sims playing musical chairs or getting up a lot. We think we've done a pretty good job getting rid of that problem in restaurants. So Sims are basically assigned their own seats and aren't allowed to sit anywhere else, although you as a player are free to change your seat at any time. But in general, Sims will stay in their seats and enjoy their dining experience. Sometimes they might get up to go to the bathroom or talk or other types of stuff, but they will not take each other's seats, and they will definitely stay out of your table.
Yeah, once a table's been claimed by other diners, their seats are kind of locked off, so you can see I cannot sit at a seat that's not my own.
No, we got our, nope. Oh.
So we are waiting for our food, and of course if you bring kids to a restaurant, it's very important to keep them entertained. So there is the drawing on placemat. Can anybody draw on placemat?
Yeah, adults and children can both draw on the placemat.
I think that you'll only see childish or maybe insane Sims that are adults doing it autonomously. Or
looks like our food is coming.
Oh no! Of course she spills when she's on camera.
Boo!
And actually, there was a question on the forum from K&D about waiters spilling. That if the waiter drops the food, will the Sims wait again for another food dish to come out? And yeah, like even if it was an NPC table, the Sims would wait around for the waiter to bring another order to them. And you'll see that the waiter will bring the dish out again to your table.
Well, that's definitely true in unowned restaurants. In owned restaurants, Sims can get a little more impatient. So if their food took a little too long to deliver and then it got spilled and they don't get their food soon enough, then they might actually get angry and leave.
That's okay. While we're waiting for our food to be refired, we can show off a couple other things. So people have asked, can you have entertainers? Can you have bartenders at restaurants? And the answer is yes. So you'll see that there's a bartender that was, a mixologist that was already manning the station as soon as we got there. And piano players, comedians, they can also all be called in to kind of man those objects as well.
And so bars felt intrinsic enough to restaurants that we wanted them to be a little more supported. So if you put a bar in your restaurant, then a mixologist will man it automatically. The other places you have to hire manually if you want them.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Second time successful. I really love these new experimental foods. I think
they're really beautiful.
They did a really good job making these look cool and appetizing. I love the effects on them.
Can you zoom in on that pasta?
Oh yeah, zoom on one of them.
I think there's a little lava flowing on that.
Yeah, look at that.
The volcano pasta.
Yeah, I'll say
so tasty.
The more you zoom in on these foods, the more rewarding it is. You see a lot of little things that you might have missed otherwise.
Mad jerky. Man, just playing this game makes me hungry all the time.
I know.
Oh, she finished that nectar kind of fast. That's okay. So as we were saying before, you can keep on ordering. So if we wanted to, order a second round of main courses, order some dessert, we can certainly do so. Call over that waiter. Maybe she needs another glass. Maybe we could use some dessert. At any time, we can also, edit this if we said, oh, she's had too much.
Yeah.
Are you paying attention to the wine or the nectar food pairings, Dave? Because
I missed that.
Certain foods go better with certain nectars. So
awesome.
If you pick the right choices, then you might end up with a little extra reward. Your sim will be a little happier.
Thank you for taking the order. And let's finish up.
Do we want to wait for the second order to come, or should we jump on into ownership?
I'm guessing people probably want to see some ownership.
Yeah.
Right?
So actually, before we jump to ownership, there's one question related to the TNS that just showed up. Sunman502 asked on the forum if your Sims need to own a restaurant in order to make the new experimental dishes at home. Eric, do you want to answer?
Sure. So the answer is no. We really wanted you to be able to cook that stuff at home. So the way it works is, if your Sim has high enough cooking skills, so I believe he has to be cooking 5 or above, then anytime you try an experimental dish, then the sim can learn that recipe and then they can cook it at home. That said, the experimental food is sort of modeled off of molecular gastronomy, but it takes a more fancy stove than your traditional stove. So you'll actually have to buy one of the high-end restaurant stoves if you want to be able to cook that stuff at home.
Okay, so instead of waiting for dessert to come out, why don't we go ahead and show off actually owning and managing the restaurant?
Sounds good.
So, let's go ahead and buy a restaurant. Oh, you know what? One thing we neglected to show off while we were here is just the customization options that you get at any store.
We should show those off.
Yeah, so let's go into build mode real fast, and maybe you guys can start walking us through these options.
Yeah, let's start with editing the menu. So there's a few different preset menus that you can choose from. These are ones that we created. So there's some typical menu types like a diner, a brunch menu, an Italian restaurant, and a seafood restaurant, and then we have a menu dedicated to our new experimental foods. But if you don't want to use one of those menus, you can actually create your own custom menu where you can add any of the dishes, any of the food, pretty much any food from any of the packs that you own, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, and we've tried to make it as easy as possible. We wanted to include as many food and drinks as we possibly could from other packs, but also give you a nice way to be able to filter through them instead of having to look at a list of hundreds of objects or hundreds of food items. So drinks, you can filter hot, cold, fruit, fizzy, etc. And each kind of appetizer, each category will have those filtering options just to make it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, so we really tried to have everything. So there's even stuff that you can have straight out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Like bowl of cereal and things like that.
Yogurt.
Those are all on the menu too.
And there's actually a few new dishes that we added in GP3 that aren't experimental food. I think Dave added the clam chowder to the menu. That's one of our new dishes that we're adding in this pack.
Yeah, so there's a ton, and hopefully you can see how cool these thumbnails look. We put a lot of effort into actually making the food look really appetizing.
Yeah. How about that microwave dinner?
Who doesn't want that tofu dog now? I mean, that's my favorite. So yeah, menu customization, incredibly easy. You can do it from the ground up. You can easily just load presets and go from there if you want. It's really, really easy. Beyond updating the menu, and obviously you can feel free to customize any of the build buy objects to your liking. What else can you do?
You can also customize what your chef, waiters, and hosts are wearing at either an unowned or an owned restaurant. You can see we have a few presets, and then we'll go on a little later and show you some of the actual casting. And then the final thing you can do is adjust what your customer's attire is. So you can choose from all the major categories, and if you want to have a restaurant filled with people wearing sleepwear, then you are welcome to. And in fact, most of our playtesters either choose swimwear or sleepwear.
Yeah. We always choose party because it's all about party.
Yeah.
Party all the time.
Party all the time.
Party all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, those are some of the basic kind of options that you have to customize any restaurant in the world.
Yeah, and you're free to do that for an unowned restaurant or an owned. If it's an unowned restaurant, then you'll do it through Build Buy, where you do all your customization. And if it's owned, then you'll do it through Live Mode, through the new owned restaurant UI, which you'll see in a minute.
Yeah, and anybody who got the patch yesterday actually has this new UI. You may have noticed that it has like the retail drop down now. So in any case, we're going to buy a restaurant. All of these that we actually have here are the pre-made. So we showed off Chez Llama. We have the Bistro. We have the Sunny Side Up Diner. Hogan's Burger Bar. Nice little call out. Throwback to Sims 2. Villa Bovine. Always delicious. And we have the seafood. I'm kind of partial to the burger bar.
That's one of my favorite restaurants that we made.
It's nice and simple. It's outdoors, which is really nice.
Even though you're a vegetarian, you can't eat here. Well,
my Sims can eat
we'll
that.
find. Yeah, we can
Hey, I don't
put something on the
I
menu.
don't judge my Sims if they want to eat meat.
In fact, there was several questions around, can you have a vegetarian restaurant?
Oh yeah.
And the answer is absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, you can set veggie meals only on the menu.
You're completely free to sort of customize your menu how you want, which is super fun. I think some of our one of our playtests, someone made eggs, which just had all eggs on the menu, and that's it.
One of our other producers was fascinated with making all the employees wear bear suits, and he made a pub called Bear Grills, which I thought was pretty clever. But anyways, so moving along. So the first step is just like retail, you actually have to transfer money into your business. And before we go any further, let's just take a look at the lot. So it's nighttime, 11:43 p.m. Maybe not the best time to be opening up a brand new business, but it's okay. We're gonna do it anyways. So you can see this is a little bit smaller, kind of tighter feel. There's no real indoor seating to this restaurant. Everything's sit outside at the new booth tables. But we're actually closed for business right now. So what should we do to kind of prep this restaurant to open up to the public?
Well, since this is newly purchased, it seems like the first thing we might want to do is hire some people to work there.
Yeah.
Cool. So over in our business tab, Hogan's Burger Bar, which is currently closed. You can see we have a little exclamation point on the manage employees. So let's go in there. What kind of employees can we hire for businesses?
Oh, well, we can hire waiters, hosts, and chefs. And you can see that there's like a few different options from different Sims in the world. If you mouse over, you can see that there are different skills that influence how that Sim will do as that role in the restaurant.
Yeah, each role has a couple of different skills that kind of represent how good they're going to do with customers or with their job. Looks like our initial starting state, all of the prospective employees are about the same level. So,
If you have a world with more Sims in it, then you're more likely to see some Sims with more skills there.
yeah, so why don't we go ahead and hire? So, plenty of questions around, can you actually have your Sims play as a chef, play as a waiter, play as a host?
Yeah, so the general answer is that we really wanted to focus on the management side of things. So while we let your employees do the sort of hard work of running a restaurant, cooking the food, delivering the food, and sort of bringing everyone in and seating them, you as the manager is free to walk around and sort of make sure everyone's having a really good time, as well as sort of spot helping out. You can pick up, clean up messes and things like that.
Oh, and we had a question on the forum from Danny Donbo if any member of a family that owns the restaurant can work as the manager, like elders, teens, children. So you want to take that, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody in your household is part owner of the restaurant. Anybody that's teen and older can actually come to the restaurant and do all of the duties that an owner would do. In fact, my personal play style, I usually like to bring a couple of my household members with me. I'll have one Sim kind of focus front of the house and just deal with diners as they're coming in. I'll have my other guy in the back just dealing with employees. And actually, to kind of go back to the well, why can't we actually have our Sims actively play as the chef? I know we had a lot of discussions around that, and it seemed like most of the gameplay was you would be parked into an interaction, and it didn't really seem as fun or active as you might want it. Nor could we really like focus on 3 different fully playable jobs that your Sims could do. So we thought that the owner manager was a nice kind of cross section between all of them and give you plenty to do. So hey, we're talking about restaurant settings and what we need to do to open up. We've just set our employee staff. What else should we be doing?
Well, this management panel is probably the next place you want to go. There's a couple of settings that you can adjust on your restaurant to make sure it's running really nicely. So the first one you can see there is price markup. It's sort of similar to retail. Basically, you can choose what kind of markup you want to run your restaurant at, and that'll determine exactly how much extra money on top of the cost of ingredients you'll be making whenever you sell food.
All right, it's a new restaurant. Is it okay if we set it kind of low?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And actually, that's a pretty good idea because Sims are pretty sensitive to the price of the food. So if you're not cooking like really high quality food, then they might be kind of cranky if you're really marking up your price high. But if you have a really low price, then they're going to be really happy with the value, which means they might rate your restaurant a little better.
Cool. Yeah, there's several kind of axes that customers will rate your restaurant against, right? There's the overall ambiance of the restaurant, the customer service, the value of the food, the quality